judicial system, and the case backload, the caseload is backed up so far, that people's due process rights are being violated, and the problem is that system just is not working up there. We've had people resign and whatnot because they couldn't get along with each other, right?
Votes and
Situation, we need to pay attention to it.
Okay.
It should be on top of our priority list.
Good morning, everyone. You're definitely right. We're almost a year into this, Mike, and we haven't done one thing about it, but talk about it. We need to make it a priority and we need to quit recycling people also, because maybe that's a part of the problem also. We're failing the people, and they really need help up there. They need us to help them find a solution to make things better, and we all just need to pull it together to help. Because look, you mentioned the Attorney General's office. Look what happened there. With our assistant Attorney General. We just wasted money there, wasted money in the people's time. But we need to set a date, to sit down with them and to find solutions. And they need to, this is the thing here, find the balance, because it's called constructive criticism. And if you're not doing your job and someone's trying to help you correct it, people get all butthurt about it and pow and try and do vindictive things to get back. We work for the people, bottom line. And we haven't been working for them because it's almost been a year, and this body should really make some serious changes here. That's what we were voted in for. But yeah, I think we should set a date and we should visit with them. And then we should also set a couple dates to hear the directors out too, sometime. Yeah, on their budget cut.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know, sitting on the judiciary, I think 3 times too, we had a lot of concerns, a lot of issues, both public, professional, things that affect with our court system. So, I know accountability is one of the biggest things that we need to address and also maybe implement up there, because again, they don't think that they need to adhere to what policy and procedures should be implemented there. They think that it's just up to them, is what I think, my own opinion. But I guess for us to do something, I think, not to single out anybody or anything in that deal, is like to put maybe an independent maybe review or independent audit for us as a tribe. I know the jail or the defense department does it, but for us, that would be maybe a solution for us to be able to see that so that they can be accountable. It's really tough if you say you get hired for a position and you're not doing that job. It's really kind of tough to make them accountable, because they say, well, there's always somebody in charge of somebody. But I do believe we should, as a body, just like any other organization around here, have an independent, review to make sure that things are going the way it should be going. Because for a paper to be sitting on a desk for a whole year is really kind of disturbing for me. It's really, how hard is it for them to send that off? If they don't like somebody, that's their personal deal, but their job says they have to do it no matter what. But if they're not adhering to all these things that they should be doing, then I guess there's a problem up there. And we are addressing it here, but I would like to see something done as far as something like that, maybe an independent review, independent audit, not just one time, but quarterly maybe, or maybe monthly, so that we have the understanding that they're going to have to do it. If they're not going to do it, then there's a problem. Because I don't know where these evaluations are come up with the directors or maybe even some of the employees. I don't know if they do that anymore. But so those are just my concerns, and it may be a solution for that. So that's just what I think with the court system and any other program, the Attorney General's office, things to that effect. But we're hurting up there quite a bit. We don't have a prosecutor. We don't have anything going on up there. So we do need something to happen, because it's going to come up no matter what. So I'm just kind of voicing that out there to make sure that we are addressing it and also helping it somehow, some way. Because we can blame all we want, do what we can, but we have to have action, I think is what it is. So those are just my concerns, Madam Chair. So those are just things I want to express anyways for my input. Because again, we are elected in here, and if I didn't say nothing, then I wouldn't be doing my job to say something. But thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Ray, the last time that they did that court review, I was on council then. And I don't think we got a copy of it at that time. It would be good for the council to see what was in that last review. And do you have any recommendations where it can be a more extensive, thorough review?
I'll get you guys a copy of that review. I'll make it with Tom Gravel, who's the ALTR for the contract. See what we need to do a more extensive review.
Okay, thank you. If there's no more discussion, are you ready to vote? Mike?
Just one more suggestion, perhaps, and I'd bet a nickel on this, you know, that funding that has something to do with it. We probably need to put more resources up there, you know, but that's something we really don't seem to be willing to do. You know, we have other priorities.
That's why I'm asking Ray, because then the BIA would have to cover that.
Well, the BIA, they'll come in and tell you what should be done, you know, but they're not gonna come forth with any money. And if they do, it'll be money for a year, and then after that, it's back on our shoulders, you know.
But not to do a random, but to do a thorough. Any other discussion?
Motion again?
I have one, Madam Chair. You know, with all these programs that work with the court, with the prosecutor's office, all of them, and funding right now is gonna be really tight, but you know what? Eventually, they all need to be in the same building, like a one-stop shop. Eventually, because they need to be working together too, and they're not. And maybe, our evaluations for the workers also, comes into a big part, our play and everything here too, their time and attendance, the way they, their communication skills, the way they treat people, but we really need to work on our evaluations also.
Wayne's not here, but I know I heard him talking about something with, are you aware of it, Mike? Funding to build a centralized with all of those programs in it?
Mm-hmm. I know that there's
Is that already in place for that to try to be built where we can put everybody together in one place? Yeah.
That's down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Judiciary Committee, we get a lot of complaints and a lot of issues, and I really feel like we're helpless because a lot of these issues that come to us are personnel issues. So we've kind of been waiting to, I guess, have a meeting or waiting to get an update from you as far as where we are with the prosecutor's office, where we are with the AG's office. There's so many issues going on, and maybe we can go into exec or go off the air and you can give us an update as far as the prosecutor's office, the victim services department. We get so many complaints.
How come I'm not getting the complaints?
We tell them to go to you, and some of them said they have, but nothing's ever come.
I've only gotten 2 complaints.
Or they emailed you. That was another one that they emailed.
The other 2 complaints I got, one is in writing, one is an email, and I know which ones you're talking about.
Madam Chair, can we go off there to discuss some of this?
I don't want to go off there to discuss personnel right now. I don't have those people here or something to present to you until it's a result. We will violate their due process. And so I don't
Well, then
want to
can
talk.
you reach out to them and let them know, because they come to us, they come to committee, and we feel helpless. We can't even do anything. We can't help them because you tell them we're violating their process. You tell them, don't go to council, don't talk to council, so they come to us anyway.
Yeah, that's the Constitution, that's the resolutions, that's the law, is that they have to follow that process. And you can give me the names and I'll reach out to them, but I have responded to whatever has come to me. If there's people going to you, they are violating their chain of command. They all know, it's posted everywhere. It has been sent out an email what the chain of command is.
I want to say point of order right here because I have a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
Can we please vote on that and then we can have that discussion because I have some concerns with that chain of command as well.
All in favor? I have a question. I was questioned already.
My question.
All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Opposed?
0,
Not voting?
2.
Motion carried.
Okay, because the other thing that I had on the agenda was personnel. There's a lot of issues that follow under this personnel one. One was the chain of command, the lack of response that the employees or anybody are getting back. The second was bonuses, all the admin leave that was been granted. And then the harassment policy, and it really needs to be defined. If you're on the clock or off the clock, what applies to you? Because over the years, I've noticed that some individuals will post whatever when they're off duty or on approved leave, and nothing happened to them, nothing. But yet, when somebody that isn't liked or whatever, I mean, that's the only way I could put it, you know, because if our application to the policies isn't consistent straight across the board, then obviously there's something wrong with that. And if it only applies to this person, that person, then either they're not liked by somebody and this person's not liked by somebody, but these other ones who get away with it are. I mean, that's just, to me, when you're not consistent with your policies and your procedures, that's how it appears. So the harassment policy, that policy right there, if you're on leave, approved leave, suspended, terminated, whatever, or resigned, I want a definite answer. I want a legal opinion of whether personnel disciplinary actions can be applied, because we don't have an employee conduct code for after hours or when they're on leave. So if, you know, because a lot of employee conduct, you know, does happen when they're on leave and when they're whatnot. Like I said, the laws only apply to certain people. So I want a definite legal opinion, and I don't want it from our Mr. Antoine over here. I want it from, I honestly, I think some of our attorneys might be tainted in this matter, because they've helped in previous cases where they've wrote letters on behalf of tribal presidents and commissions and boards and directors to take disciplinary action on selected employees. So where can we get that legal opinion from? Because if we don't have a policy that says, you know, conduct after working hours or while you're on leave, then none of this stuff should apply to them at all.
This is something that's been ongoing for years. It's not new. It didn't just happen. It's been, a lot of these same complaints have been to this floor long before I ever sat here. And the attorneys are the people that we pay to do this. And so we'd have to go to one of those attorneys.
Okay, like you said, it's been going on for years, then why hasn't it been corrected? You guys put a civil rights thing in place, that's not even active yet. A lot of these people can run to that civil rights office with their concerns instead of coming to council and being accused of skipping the chain of command. But when they don't get any type of response, that's when they come to committee, that's when they come to council. And I don't feel comfortable throwing out names of people who complain, because then they're going to turn around and say, well, you skipped the chain of command, that's automatic termination. When in all reality, our own whistleblower policy and our grievance policy doesn't even protect our people. It's really sad, Kathy. And we have a hearing officer for grievances. In your grievance policy, those grievances have to be submitted in a timeline to personnel, and then they have a time frame to get those grievances in front of a hearing officer and heard. But when those aren't being heard in a time frame that is laid out in the ordinance, then what's the purpose of that? Let's just have our grievance board back and put in place, because this hearing officer gets to reschedule, the opposing party gets to reschedule, but this employee does never get to reschedule. And then it's treated like court, which to me, you know, a lot of people aren't educated on the law. They can't afford an attorney, and a lot of people don't want to represent pro bono. And attorneys, we have so many attorneys that it becomes a conflict of interest for them to come here and represent a single attorney or even somebody in court, because we have contracts with these attorneys, or they were associated with the tribe at one point. So I would like, in my opinion, and I'll motion for this, a corrective action plan, or either that let's reinstate the grievance board.
If I can interrupt you for a second, Tammy. When I was on council, I brought the same thing up. The grievance committee is an ordinance. I don't know how they were ever taken out because there's a process to remove an ordinance. And I said on this council floor, by removing that ordinance, we take away the rights of our employees because they have no one to turn to. I agree with you on that. I brought that up before and nothing happened with it. So we'll have to have the secretary's office go back to when, because way years back, it was temporarily suspended, but it was never, ever, to my knowledge, I would have liked to have them look at it. I don't know when that ordinance was ever taken out because there's a process to removing ordinances. You can't remove an ordinance by a motion. There's a process to do that. When you look in the old manual, there was a grievance committee. And that's where the employees were. The hearing officer doesn't come in unless there's no resolution. So we're skipping a step there and actually we end up in violation. But it needs to be found out how was that ever removed.
Okay, so from my understanding, it was removed after, it was removed during when he was in the term. Okay, so with that said, if that has to be done by resolution for the hearing officers to be here, then in all honesty, these poor employees, you know, they done won their grievance by default. And that's just my opinion, you know, the system's not working for them, the process that's been set up. So I would like to make a motion, I'll make this motion, a motion that the secretary's office review how too much words, the grievance board was removed, and if it was in violation of the ordinance, and to have that report back to us. I guess, I don't know if we're gonna recess to next week, but maybe by the next council meeting on the 13th. And your results in the meantime, can you forward them to everybody, including legislative affairs, by email? That way we can review it before we come.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? If the ordinance, if you're saying the ordinance is not being followed, why can we not just make a motion to reinstate or to follow that? And then we can still figure out how it happened, but I think the how is irrelevant to how we fix it.
That was gonna be my second.
Let's see what needs to first be found is, was that ordinance removed? We don't know. I wasn't
Oh,
here.
I thought you said it didn't follow policy. It did.
So that's my motion pertaining to the grievance.
Have a second? Votes, question? Mike, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Opposed?
0,
Not voting?
3.
Motion carried.
Okay, so my second motion is upon the determination from the secretary's report to immediately advertise for, to reinstate the election, or not the election, the grievance vote.
It'll have to be advertised.
Yeah.
Do I have a second? Michelle, question? Emily, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
Okay,
Motion carried.
okay, the other motion I have is, I want an honest legal opinion. I guess from our Attorney General law firm on the conduct of employees off duty. Because there is no policy pertaining to the conduct of our employees when they're off or on duty. They are not subject to the personnel policies and procedures. It's recorded.
He'll put that in. It'll be a part of his,
Okay. So,
when you get an attorney's opinion, then they'll fully
Yeah.
cover the policies that are in place and everything, and then it'll be sent to all of you.
okay, that's my motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
Mike, question?
But I would like to make a comment.
Okay.
Good. On this business of employees' conduct when they're off the clock, I recall a lot of heavy discussion years ago, particularly when the internet first became, and anyway, there was policy, as I recall, that was adopted, so I believe it's there, but
Yeah, well,
that or
what
dig it
Tammy's
out.
motion, with her motion, that will bring that up. Whatever's in place, it'll be brought up and it will be in that response. Okay. All in favor?
I have a question.
Oh,
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I understood your motion. Is it, like, you want a legal opinion regarding employee conduct and enforcement of personnel policies and procedures while employees are off duty?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Specifically like that. Because we don't have.
Any more discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote. All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
2.
Motion carried.
That's all I have. I got breakfast and that's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Wayne, do you want to, Wayne, do you have anything? You, Wayne.
Do I?
Yeah.
I have a couple resolutions I need to get passed. One is I want to ask the council to use the FEMA reimbursement account to fix these community buildings that are in really bad shape right now, so they're going to further destroy and then get reimbursed by whenever our insurance money comes in. And the other, I need a resolution to authorize to use LITC funds to purchase new time clocks. The time clocks we have now aren't interfaced with the new software system, so we have to buy all new time clocks. But I'll bring those when things are done.
All right.
Madam Chair?
Hold on, Mike. I have Ben and then Mike.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I also brought up the fair. I want to get an update on the fair board. And then also, I think it was last year, made several motions. I made several motions. It was brought up just recently too about the ball field lights up there, the fast pitch. Those are the old lights. And I'm sure I made the motion, but I was reiterated by other people to say, I think you did make the motion, but to change those lights out to LED, because I know the women's field and also the Little League has the LED lights and they're a lot brighter. And I know they have league night up there, fast pitch, and also women's league, but if we can change those out. I did talk to Nicole about it. I believe you were supposed to bring up in a meeting, but I would like to try to make the motion to have that done before Rosebud Fair, so that way it's a lot brighter over there. I know you guys are bringing in the generators and stuff, but I would like to have them permanently on there, so that way throughout the year and summer that they are bright. So I would like to make that motion that we have that before Rosebud Fair.
We'll have to get an estimate and make
Yes.
sure we have the money and see if
Yes.
it's doable to get it done by then, but,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, yeah.
Can I have a second?
Then I didn't find a motion in one of the.
You did that? Well, that's what I was thinking too, because I said, I know I brought it up.
Discussion, so it's good that you're making it now.
Could be what it is, yeah. So
Motion by Ben, second.
Yeah.
Did you second? Or was you just waving at Michelle? Michelle, question? Cowboy? All in favor of changing the lights out at the ball field?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Opposed?
0,
Not voting?
3.
And then I also have a question. I think we did ask a comparison from last year's Rosebud Fair, the whole thing, budget and I guess comparison. So I was wondering if we can get a copy of that. I think that was actually a motion too last year for that. So what it cost us to do the fair last year, it was something that we were supposed to, I guess, we asked as a council to get that so we can have a comparison of what it was for the rodeo, the Wachipi, I think the actual other stuff that are coming up. So I'm requesting that again, if we can get a copy of that so we can actually have those comparisons and find out where what's going to be costing us this year. I know right now, the 1st of August, we got 30 days? I think not even 30 days, 15 days, I think, before we have it. So if I can get a copy of that or get a copy for us, we can actually compare that. So
Were you this one off the same budget as last year?
Exact same.
Exact same.
that same thing. Okay. Reason why I was asking, because I know on social media, they're doing horse races, I think, or something like that, where they run around the deal. Is that an extra cost? Is that going to be
That's gonna
added
actually
on?
be coming up.
So it's going to be, yeah. So I know it was brought up last year about having those horse races, but I know Vice Chairman said that it wasn't going to, I guess, help us out. It's going to hurt us because rather having it, we're going to put more money into it and not get anything back off it. So that's what I'm kind of curious too, is that if there's more, just like the lights, the ball field lights, that's going to be an extra cost. And I know we're not anticipating that, but if these are things that are going to be brought up, I would like to see where, this funding's coming from, how much it's going to cost us a little bit more, so we can actually anticipate, what our fair is going to be costing us, I suppose. So those are just my concerns, and I would have those requests also for that budget for the comparisons for that.
Is that,
Yeah, this is probably it.
have you on? Next I have Mike. Folks, Michelle.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move at this time to approve Wayne's request to move, to utilize FEMA funds as a temporary funding source to repair damaged tribal buildings.
We have to wait for your resolution.
Have to wait for that.
Do we need a resolution for that?
You can make a motion and I'll make it work.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, second. Phillips, question? Cowboy, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting? 2.
And again, just to remind everybody that once the insurance proceeds come in, that money will be reimbursed back to the FEMA, those funds will go back into that FEMA account. Secondly, in regard to the lights that Ben mentioned, I saw some documents somewhere that suggested that those lights would cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $50,000 a piece. I don't know if that was for one or if that was for all of them, but $50,000 is the figure I saw. Now that's a lot of money for us to be discussing at this point. With the road to fair, just 4 weeks away or whatever it is, 3 weeks away.
If it can't be done now, they could always be changed out next year, Ben.
Just for one ball is, for now, the one ball is that much. But for LEDs, it'd be a lot cheaper.
50,000?
Not for one ball. One ball was like $60 or $600, I think it is for those, because those are the older ones where the illuminations are a lot brighter, but it's the old stuff, so they're gonna be more expensive, but.
Maybe the number I saw was a misnomer, but it was a big number.
Yeah, well, that was one of the concerns that they had, is that they were old back in the 80s, I think, so those light bulbs are.
Possibly, maybe they are only, maybe it's only $600 a bob.
Yeah.
Let's get back on track with
But I
her.
think what I looked at was a suggestion that replacing all of them maybe would run into thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but to turn an LED would be a lot simpler. Yeah.
Folks.
I think what it needs is 4 balls, and they're $600 a piece.
Basically, talking about FEMA and redoing the community buildings. How's the process coming for the people who lost homes or damages that were done to our community members who have lost homes in St. Francis? How's that process going? Have we found temporary places for them? repairs, how's that gonna fall into place?
The tribe was denied their application for FEMA disaster, that was denied. So we're in the process of objecting to that. We submitted an application for a eminent threat grant. That was for $750,000. We have not heard back on whether that's approved or not. Just that eminent threat grant houses that were destroyed, I think 4 or 5 of them, those would be taken care of through that grant.
Why was we denied?
I don't know, from what I heard, this is, I don't have, I can't verify, but what I heard, there's only been one Indian tribe in the whole country that was approved of a FEMA disaster. Everybody else is like that.
And those are approved by the President of the United States.
Yeah, that's a presidential thing. Anyway, we're working with Thun's office right now to approve that.
Can we have Bob come and do a report on our next, meeting to see where he's at? And, you know, ready, if there's another storm, we'd like to see the plan and see what he has in place also. I know he gave us that one in writing, but, you know, does he have everything that he needs to do a command center, to put cots out and all that, you know? Can he come do a report for us? And then relays. It's a big thing. This is a family thing. People go to see this. I know last year one year this was a big issue. People were saying, why are we putting so much money into this? When they actually offered to come in and train our own people so that way we can have a team to sponsor. Well, we do have a team. The Lone Dogs, they actually race with our flag, with our tribal flag. They're really good, but they had a plan, but just because one of our employees said a bad thing about another person and it wasn't true, this body believed it and we didn't go through with the relays. But you know, this here is a family thing. When we look like that, Wayne, when you shrug your eyebrows, I know. And I talked to you about that individual before too. I won't say his name on the radio. But it is something to put forth. People will come, they will pay to watch them. And then holding orders, Wayne.
Mike and I had a really, really brief discussion on this yesterday.
Yeah, it was brief because
What
I stashed some money away for it.
Thank you.
What I would like to propose is instead of spending $1.6 million and giving everybody 300, I think we could comfortably give everybody $200. That's off reservation, everything, and spend a little over $1 million. That would be my recommendation. So last year we gave every kid $300, and whether they lived in Hawaii or wherever. This year I'd recommend that we could give every kid $200, no matter where they lived. That would be. I think we could comfortably do that.
Comfortably, where would we get the rest of the funding? Right, Cole?
We have $770,000 there right now, and then we could probably get.
Because you guys are ready to go on it. Make the motion.
I would recommend that you go with Wayne's recommendation.
All
Are
right.
you gonna make it a motion?
I'll make it a motion, yeah, that we go with Wayne's recommendation.
Okay.
Yes.
Need a second? Michelle, question? Emily, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Are you doing that? You did that on and off, right?
Yes, and for the listeners,
Hold on. Opposed?
Zero.
Not voting? Thank you.
and for our listeners, let's be thankful that we're getting $200 because it's better than nothing. So we have to find our balance here because there's a lot coming at us. So And for our parents, please spend the money wisely, spend it on our children. Spend it on the children, that's what it's for. But, on our next agenda too, can we have Redco come do a report?
Yeah.
I'd like
We
to,
actually need to have, get all of our,
It's in
Carter?
September. September is the annual.
yeah,
So the Red Cross, St. Francis, HBU,
all of our,
all the ones that are.
but I think some of them, we need to hear from them more often, because, you know, Pejico, we need to hear about some of these things, because some of these places, we hear that they're in the red, holy buckets, they should be making some money.
That's by ordinance.
So-
Annual.
yeah, it is by ordinance that they come and do that annual, so we can get that set up.
Okay,
That'll be September.
Yeah, not August, but September till.
all right, thank you.
Have Michelle.
I think she kind of covered the stuff that I wanted to talk about, but then also Wayne said that FEMA denied on that last storm, so that, I guess that was one of my questions, because Mike said that they would be reimbursed, but there's no guarantee that they're gonna be reimbursed. So I hope that we're still covered for all the other needs and things too, once we get into that money. Because there's probably a 90% chance we're not going to be
Well, we're
reimbursed.
assuming the insurance company is going to
Yeah.
come across.
On this FEMA reimbursement account we have, I'm only suggesting that we get reimbursed from our insurance company. There's gonna be a gap. I mean, at the end of the day, when I bring the report back, we might end up having to pay like 10 or 15% of that money from that account, but the rest we should be getting reimbursed by insurance. With that FEMA disaster, there was a lot of stuff in there to fix these houses and roads and buildings, and all that stuff got denied. But we're still having hopes that we're gonna get this imminent threat grant for $750,000 to cover those homes.
And then also on the Indian relay races, it's pretty awesome, but I'm wondering like, because I'm not part of the fair board, I don't go to the meetings, just curious as to how they come up with all of this money, and are they given the authority to fundraise as well for the events that they're hosting? Because he's been in there long enough, so hoping he came up with majority of this money. And then where does the revenue go that he generates?
Back to the tribe.
Does it go back to the fair for next year?
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Okay, so they can hopefully have this. Okay.
So it sounds like there's like half, some are for it, some are against it, so I think that I would recommend we just, take a vote on it, either vote it up or down. Am I?
I have a question. Do you know how much the rodeo or the fair or anything brought in for revenue last year or previous years?
It was given out at the end of last year, but I'll let him answer you.
I was just wondering, like, if we did do this, how much of that would be recouped? Like, we usually bring in sales at the gate or something for the rodeo? And do we have a average of what we usually bring in?
Last year, we spent like 500 and some thousand. I think we got revenues of like 213,000. But the majority of that revenue comes from the carnival. Our gate receipts and stuff, I mean, it's some, but it's not, it's very little. Like all of the rodeos, we might take in $8,000 or $9,000 at the gate. Mud races, maybe another 4,000 or 5,000. So altogether, those things don't add up. Majority of our revenue comes from that carnival and the sale of the concession stands.
An event like
So the
this.
tribe picked up roughly $280,000 last year.
Yeah, almost 300,000. Yep. And
A lot of money, folks.
And that's been the trend, Mike. That's about, when I first became treasurer back in 14 or 16, whatever it was, the fair budget was around $75,000. That's what we ran our fair on. But now it's $500,000. That's how much it's gone up.
Fredericks.
Well, just for me, I'm not in favor of coming up with money this late in the game for just an event. Once again,
you know, to come up with 54,000 roughly off the cuff when we're facing some tremendous budget cuts just for a celebration. We talked about trying to save money. The Rosebud Fair has never come close to recouping its cost for what we put out to put it on. And at the same time, if we're gonna find $54,000 to entertain tribal members, I want to look at putting 54,000 towards the Parmalee and Grass Mountain tribal members who literally got hit with that storm, some winter tribal members. I don't think about just spending 54 grand just to watch an event that's gonna only probably bring in 50 people to 100 to watch, because they're gonna end up having to pay so much to get in the gate just to watch it. Right now, we're going with the INFR Rodeo. We talked about not going with the INFR Rodeo so our tribal members could see local people actually in the rodeo and charge less money at the gate to get in to see it. $5 a person, $5 a carload, not $20 a person just to come and watch. And that's something that has constantly hurt replacement cowboys and cowgirls to be even in the contestants, to be as a contestant. And let alone, if you want to buy your day card, you're going to spend almost $500. And unless you win, you're not going to make that $500 back. And then that's how big INFR has gotten to this point. It literally is a United States wide rodeo. It ain't just in South Dakota anymore. It ain't in North Dakota in here. So the only cowboys that we got here are 2 that are literally competing in it. So, and then on top of it, we spend another almost 50 grand to have that match bronc ride, which was good at one time for 1 year. And if you look at the stands, the numbers are way down. And then those people that are pros that are coming in, I said it before, there's nothing in the contract making them sign autographs for our kids. So once again, we're paying for them to come and compete, take our money and head out. And that's something I don't like, because they're not even required to sign, and those kids won't know that. Like Wade Sundell, oh, look at him, he rode, woo, and he's gone, boom, in the car and headed out. Send me my check. So that's where I'm at with that. I don't want to move to have the relay races this year. Maybe on the 150th next year. Plan ahead.
Tammy and Schultz.
The relay races are already advertised. I'm not for it either, but
They shouldn't have did it.
they shouldn't have did it, exactly. In regards to what's going on here, I would like to entertain a motion to re-advertise for 30 days for the fair manager. And then to immediately make that decision once all those applications are in, because we need to have somebody in there that's gonna be out there trying to get donations, trying to, recoup some money here and come up with a better solution for the problems that the tribe's been facing with this fair.
So do you want a year-round position?
Yep.
They'll probably have to start next year though. It's a little bit too late to have somebody start now. Everything's already pretty much in place.
Well, they could start maybe
But she
beginning
said
of the
30
fiscal
days.
year.
Yeah. Advertise 30 days. Okay, second. Michelle, question Wayne. All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
One.
Thank you. Totes.
This just goes to show all of us and our listeners that we don't plan and we don't prepare. If we all go back and we watch when we all got sworn in and our first 2 meetings, this was going to be a priority. That the powwow grounds was going to be redone, retailed. And look at August 1st, our fair's right around the corner. And we still don't. We should have been bringing all of this to the table and discussing it with us, all of us. We even talked about having a whole area for handicap, because look at last year, how many of our elders were having to park way back there to walk up to the powwow grounds. We discussed this in September, you guys, and we said we were going to be on top of it. We really need to police each other, and we need to start attending our committee meetings, and if not, let's meet every day for council and work for the people. because it's not getting done. We have to pull it together and work on this stuff because, you know, like Wayne just discussed about the damage done in the communities. Where are we on that damage done into those houses and to those homes? Nobody's even gotten a report on it. So we don't even know if they're getting taken care of. Nobody's held accountable for nothing. We need to start working together and we need to start policing each other and reminding each other. We work for the people, not for our families and our relatives, and no shady stuff under the table.
Before, go ahead, Michelle. I was gonna give the report that Ben asked for, but go ahead.
Just curious as to the bids. I'm getting asked by people too, where we're at with the bids for the rodeo.
I'll let Nicole answer you. They did the bids were
We
done.
did the
2
bids
days
on
ago.
Tuesday and contracts are getting with them.
So they selected already? Did you let them know? They don't. They don't know because they're asking me.
Yeah, the contracts are getting done.
Who got the rodeo?
Rodeo
Really
Yeah.
asked? Who got it?
Who got the rodeo?
or what? There's different ones on there.
With a contractor?
The stock contractor?
Stop.
Is it? I don't know. It's not
Small, right?
I know that's a mess. There was 2 bids submitted. I made a motion to accept the low bid and the motion passed. And the rodeo manager informed the board that stock contractor didn't have an INFR card. So then the committee then reversed their decision. The rodeo manager recommended that he just work with all the local contractors and pay stock charges per out.
Do they need to have an INFR card? Or INFR card? They said they don't need it until right before the rodeo starts.
I don't know.
But he had it. So you're gonna pay outs instead of actually one contractor?
That's what
For
he
the
recommended.
stock?
That's what he's recommending.
But it turns out that other individual did have it,
Yeah, and
whatever.
that's what it turns out to be,
It took somebody's word for it that he didn't.
right? That's what happened.
Isn't that considered interference or something? I mean,
It always
It's
decides
unethical
to every
as hell.
story.
Do you wanna raise your hands for your discussion, please? You're all talking at the same time. Wayne, Ben,
Whoever the bid winner was, however it was advertised, then that's who we should go with, unless there was a reason to actually kick out their bid. If they brought their card in to verify that they were a current member, then we should go with them in one way or another. Otherwise, reject them and go with the other bid holder for whatever reason. But if that one was valid, then why don't not just go with them? That's another reason. Shouldn't have went with INFR.
Ben,
Was that a requirement before they even actually submitted the contract? I mean,
Wasn't in there.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I was like,
Why are they rejected?
that's what I'm saying. It's like, what? So last year, I mean, we do this every year. So, I mean, if there's requirements regarding, you know, in this case, the rodeo, the stock contract, it should have been maybe in the contract or maybe given to them. Because again, we're going to take somebody's word off it. It's not really legit. I mean, it's assumption. But so if it's in writing, I think that's what we do. But last minute type stuff, this is what we get in trouble with. So those are just my concerns on it. Because again, if it's not in writing and then somebody else says it should be, then but again, we did it last year. We're going to do it again next year. We're going to do it year after that. So we need to make sure we have these things in order before we actually do these types of things before we get in trouble. So those are my concerns. Thank you.
Karen,
that was what I was gonna ask, was what he asked, was it in there? Yeah, okay.
Ben, in response to your previous question, and for Totes' information, the arbor is being worked on. They are working on the grass. They have been getting that ready. The whole arbor had some damage to it for the powwow. So that was contracted out. It's all getting repaired. There's going to be one-way traffic going in and coming out. Law enforcement and the ambulance service is going to be moved up a little bit. They'll be centrally located, not in that area where it's all congested where people can't get through. There's a road that's going to go around the back for law enforcement to police. There'll be lights put in the back. They are working on the ball fields, and the men's ball field is in very bad shape, and so it's being rebuilt. And there are going to be designated areas for camping, just like for emergency purposes, just A, B, C, so they know where their families are in case a child's lost or there's an emergency, and law enforcement or the ambulance have to get to them. And yeah, and there is going to be handicap parking. There are going to be signs. The road that's usually between the carnival and the powwow is going to be shut down at a certain time. There is going to be lighting up for more safety. And I don't think they needed very much at the rodeo grounds, but it was mostly the powwow arena and the ball fields that needed a lot of work.
So we ordered security cameras for that too, so Kathy will have access in general operations.
Okay.
And it'll be going off.
Can we get a map of that also too, so we can put it out to the public?
We can have him give one.
Yep. So-
Hold on, I seen a bunch of hands.
Sorry.
Did you have your hand up? I got two folks, Tammy and Michelle.
Is there some way they can, move those porta pots somewhere else? Because that's right by the road, and some of those little kids just come dotting right out, and even though the road's gonna be closed at certain times, there are times when it's open, it's still dangerous.
Yeah.
And they were on off ground last
we
year
can-
too.
We're gonna make sure it's kind of more organized than it has been in the past. Just like the other thing that I didn't get to mention is that daycare is gonna be opening up showers for the people that come from other places, and it'll be open for a certain time. They'll have security there. That one building of theirs is now ready to open. And so they're going to, it'll be a charge because I don't travel around, but I guess at other powwows, they do have showers available and they do rent them out. So that's another new thing that we're gonna have this year. We're trying to improve what it was before. Next year, we're going to replace a lot within the arena with possibly doing an artificial turf. So it's more flat and it's better. And it's just like stored throughout the year. Todd County Middle School, is it middle school? Yeah, Todd County Middle School donated their old bleachers, so we're going to be putting them up. They are putting a lot of work into the powwow arena. There's issues with lights. We had a water break up there, but it's because people steal the spigot because the top part of it's worth money. So they've been up there, Rhodes has been up there. They have been working on it. It should be nice when it gets here.
I want to give a shout out to whoever fixed that veterans wall back there, because it's never looked like that, and it looks really nice right now. And a lot of people don't even know that's for the veterans back there. So whoever did that, give a shout out to you because it looks very nice. Thank you.
Tammy and Michelle.
Not to go off the subject here, but and this will fall under the personnel issue, but I don't know if any of you guys checked your boxes, your mailboxes, but there's a whistleblower issue, and it was this individual got a letter denying her a grievance rejection under the whistleblower policy that the tribe has. I'm kind of mind blown here because a few years back, whenever I filed mine, I never got a letter from the president or anybody, but this individual did. And to me, like how I said, how personnel matters are selective. Okay, well, this is good proof of it. And I believe that anybody who files a whistleblower, so we need to look into that ordinance and maybe amend that, because whistleblowers, it takes a lot of courage for someone to come forward with a lot of information to address issues that are going on. And I honestly believe that we need to keep politics out of it. We need to keep maybe our attorney general out of it. And maybe from this point, amend the ordinance and just refer it to the feds or somewhere, someone that can handle it better.
All right, Tammy, can I recommend that you refer that to the personnel committee and we have something on the floor? When
Yeah, I
on that
understand,
budget?
sorry, but the thing is that personnel committee don't matter. I mean, doesn't meet. I noticed in the group chat that the chairman's always calling off meetings. So maybe we should appoint another chair or something so that that business can be conducted.
Thank you. Oh, where did he go? I think you need to make a motion on that budget. As soon as he comes back up here. He just said something, we still had that on the floor.
I just have one quick question. Okay. Is
Yeah,
there
you
gonna
were
be,
next.
parking for elders?
There will be parking, there will be designated for elders.
I heard her say handicap, but a lot of elders don't have the
Yeah.
handicap thing. Okay.
We're gonna, the security, somebody can be designated to work with him. There's something else I was gonna share with you guys, but.
So they can
Oh,
all
the
go
lights,
from-
along with what's going on with the fair, the lights that have been out on this road up at the top, and then when you turn toward the hospital, those should be fixed by the fair, because that's kind of a hazard, because you can't tell where to turn. And so that's another thing that's getting done. Boats.
Have we reached out to the schools? Remember last year, St. Francis fed lunch and supper a couple days, and then are any of the programs going to be doing like hot dogs and just different things? Because the carnival food's pretty spendy, you know, and it'd be nice to have water stations and hot dogs and something for the kids to eat without having to pay.
Thanks. Emily?
Sorry, I forgot to ask if we could add it on the agenda yesterday, but yesterday after speaking with the secretary, recently there was a petition resolution for, my seat on the TIAC board, and there'll be a travel coming up in September, and so I still would need a accompanying motion from this body to be able to travel. So I was wondering if I could ask for that today, even though it wasn't on the agenda.
Somebody want to make that motion? Wayne?
The date would be September 8th through the 11th.
Motion by Wayne, second by Ben, question by Totes. All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed?
0.
Not in favor? Oh, yeah. 2. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Tammy, on the, personnel committee, since January 1st, and then they met March 19th and June 4th.
And Marion Turk was, I believe.
Mary wants to step up.
Ben?
Do we, with security issues, I know last year, I think it was last year, where they brought the MOU with the US Marshals. I know they come anyways, but, you know, they're not allowed to get out there, I guess, but are we gonna have sufficient enough law enforcement?
Yeah, he also came to the meeting, and our officers will be within their regular tour of what they do, but he's got enforcement coming in from other tribes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too, because I know
Yeah.
with the security issues, we want to make sure that we are well covered. But anyway, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Then Tammy and Wayne. Go at the floor, or was you voting?
I was asking about this question.
Okay, after Tammy then.
Okay, so if everybody's okay with it, I would like, if we can, do we need to make a motion to remove the chairman of that committee, or can we just ask somebody to step up?
You have to make a motion. Yeah, you'll have to make a motion.
Marion's vice.
Marion's vice.
Yeah, that's, I would like to test.
I'm already chair of judiciary.
Okay, I'll make a motion, to remove the current chair of the personnel committee due to lack of meeting. Because it's always being called off. And,
That has to be one motion. That has to be your first motion, and then you do the next one.
Okay.
Do I have a second? Michelle, question, Totes, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Opposed? 0. Not voting? No.
My next motion is to, motion for, Marion to step up as the chairman of the, if she accepts.
Do you accept?
Again.
Motion by Tammy, second by Totes, question by Emily, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
Wow.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think.
Well, we could show this, she'll still be on there.
All right, sorry.
Then the committee votes on the vice, right?
Yeah.
In committee.
Yeah, in committee, you don't, you do the vice.
They said there's a motion for social services to have a reorganization, same chair as personnel. So I don't know, so social services don't mean.
Oh, she's chair of that one too? I'm not on social services. Who's the vice?
Who's the vice of social services?
They haven't even had one because they haven't had a meeting.
Oh, they never appointed one.
Wow. Okay, I'll make that motion to remove the current chairman of the social services committee due to not lack of meetings. On and off.
Need a second?
Is that?
Yeah.
Second, Totes, question? Question? Charles, are you raising your hand? All in favor?
Is that committee full?
Opposed? Oh, did you count?
Oh, not yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Opposed?
1.
Not voting?
What did I say? 11.
Should be 4.
There was 11 for, and then opposed 1. We need 5.
Yeah. Okay, nice to, need to get those in like these, right?
So I would like to open up the floor, I guess, for nominations for the chair, right?
Yeah, we have, on the committee is Lila, Belinda Yellow Eagle, Royal Yellow Hawk, Cowboy Wright, Stanley Wood and I, William Kindle, Janet Claremont, Madonna Sitting Bear, and Eileen Shaw.
Okay, and Lila was the one that was just removed the chair, so it would be from the other ones.
Doesn't the committee select chair?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now that they don't have one, the president or vice president will have to call the order to the next meeting to order. And then you'll have to pick one.
So I'll do that at the next meeting. I'll call it to order and then the committee can make that choice.
Lisa had to do that for
Okay.
Totes.
Madam Chair, can we, also have someone check the bathrooms down to Ghost Top? Because what if we have sometimes they have events down there too, and families go down there. Do the restrooms work down there?
I think they put porta potties in. It seems like that's what they were talking about doing.
Okay, all right.
I think they have water.
Do
We were
they?
talking about putting water in.
Yeah.
I know that they're working on it.
Where did Wayne go?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wayne.
I know you're looking for the other one. No, my question was, in the, since they brought up the coordination effort for law enforcement, are we gonna bring in adult corrections and JDC and all them again? Cause that was pretty
He's working
good.
on, however it was done last year, it's gonna be done again, but they're bringing additional officers in. Because, they're stepping it up because Pine Ridge isn't having theirs this
Yeah.
year, so the anticipation is, or the expectation
More
is
people.
that we're gonna have a lot more people than we normally have.
I just wanted to remind you and the judiciary, because they're gonna have to see those commission cards.
The
so we can
council, male
issue
council reps are
temporary
gonna be
ones.
helping out there with security as well. Just kidding.
Yeah, last year they came to committee and they got all their cards.
Did they bring them yet? Because he was supposed to bring them. Okay, I'll get hold of him and have him bring them the commission cards. Because that's like the only, for like the other department.
Yeah, but we also meet on the 15th, so I'm thinking he might bring them then.
Yeah.
I'll sign
On the
it or
15th?
something. Yeah, are we not gonna meet?
No, I was just like, that's really close call, but okay, yeah, I'll tell him.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Herschel. So I guess we're still standing on this, what we're gonna do with it. If anybody's gonna make a motion to approve it, if they're not gonna, a lot of changes need to be made because it's already, been out.
What's it?
I don't know, he was gonna talk about this.
Has he done any fundraising for any of this, to cover any of it?
Yeah, it'd be good if we could get him here and he could answer those questions.
Right.
Yeah, can we do that? Did you guys look at the back page too? He has like shirts and things like that.
Because I know some of it, he was saying something about some of that stuff was gonna be donated, so take about a 10-minute break and then we'll see if we can get hold of him and have
Wait,
him.
has he visited with you on any of it?
So 10-minute break,
Even
or 5-minute break.
Even has hotel rooms on
And-
here.
Yeah.
What?
Camera person. Oh, camera person.
Then you guys are talking about 50 grand for the powwow, say it's 50 grand for this and 50 grand for that. And now you guys are talking about travel. I asked this question yesterday, Madam Chair. Maybe you could answer me. Why does it take 6 councilmen to go to one meeting? I can understand that. Why does it take 6 council people to go to a meeting? I know you guys are probably tired of hearing that, but I don't care. I'm going to keep saying that. And I told my Oyate people, I'm on a council not to become popular. I'll be the most friendly guy in the world. And I don't care if all of you guys are against me. It don't matter. As long as I have the backing of the Oyate people, that's the only thing that matters to me. The money that we're spending on the rodeo, the powwow, why can't we use that money? Pine Ridge didn't have a powwow. Why can't we set it aside and help our people that were storm damaged? We're screwed up on our priorities. We got priority over entertainment than personal issues. Some of these Lakotas are struggling. You guys need to get off your chairs and go visit some of these people. You know, I just don't like the idea of all this traveling and we're complaining about money. Well, you guys are joy tripping, flying all over the place. There's some Oyate people that are struggling out there. They're trying to figure out a way to pay their electricity bill. I was next door when a grandmother got her light shut off because she owed $85. We need to think about those people, and I keep harping about that. Those are Oyate too. They're humans. We can't treat them like they're subhumans. We need to rethink our priority system here. You know, I just can't understand how we could rely on entertainment than the lives of other Oyate people. I haven't heard one damn report from all of you council people that travel quite a bit. I haven't heard a report. You guys should tell me so I could go tell my people what's going on. You guys don't need to report to me. Report to the people on TV. But I just can't understand why there's so much need to travel and there's lack of reporting. Where's the transparency? I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys campaigned on that, as I said before. A transparency and accountability. Where is that? The people elected you guys around the table so that they got that right to hear what you guys are doing. But as far as right now, you're keeping them in the dark. And like I said, you guys want to travel, that's fine. You guys make enough money, use your own money. Put that money where it's going to help people out. There was a grandmother living in a burnt out trailer house. Nobody cared until it became an issue on Facebook. But those are kind of stuff that we need to sit back and take a deep breath and realize what's going on, folks. Until you prioritize our concerns here, it's going to keep happening. I visited with one of my colleagues this morning, and they said that this issue has been going on for years. But it needs to stop, and it needs to start somewhere. And while I'm in office, I kind of like to give it a shot at addressing some of these issues. O hete te lois itchacha.
Alvin?
Yeah, you all know hard times are coming. And this here, I don't think we need this. The money you want to spend on this, give it to the children. Buy them clothing orders. This is what it's about. You know, I'm elected here to make my point. And the powwow, I go back to the traditional powwow. We spend no money. The softball games are self-supporting. You know, they make a lot of money, they turn it back into a tribe. And this is what should be done. Get rid of this thing. I don't care what any of you guys say. We need to start looking at our children. You want to spend money on something like this? I don't think so. Use money to support the kids.
Folks and Mike.
Madam Chair, those families that had damages done to their homes during the storm and the communities, can they be updated as to when they're gonna get the repairs done? Because some of them have their windows boarded and there's no, you know, they dark. So if they can get updated as to when things are gonna get fixed for them.
Like Wayne said, that we got denied, and the reason why they're just boarded up as part of FEMA regulation is that we can't fix on them until funding's approved. And since it wasn't approved, the imminent grant,
So they'll just
but
have
yeah,
to wait. Can they get an update though?
we'll get
Can
the
we give
list
them
of
an
names
update,
from
please?
Bob.
Yep.
Yep, thank you. Mike?
Yeah, Madam Chair, yeah, Robert, thank you for your talk there. That's, we need to hear that from time to time. Probably need to hear it regularly. What I wanted to advise the council on the bonding issue.
Mike, is that for the nursing home?
Yeah,
Okay, we need to go off the air, but not into exec.
well,
I mean, that's what
I don't
Eric
want
said.
to go off the air. I don't think
Okay.
that, yeah, I don't think that,
You
this
don't
is
think
not
it will
yeah,
reach out to them?
this is not,
All right.
this is not really a critical issue,
All
or
right.
sensitive, let me put it that way. The people that we hired to carry this forward for us are now, because we bought into it, they're anxious to move on. Some of us have been discussing this, you know, and I believe, and Eric, you know, I wish he was here now. I strongly advise the council to understand what we're getting, what we're committing the tribe to, you know, on this bonding thing. We're making some really serious commitments, long-term serious commitments that we need to understand and appreciate before we go any further with this project, at least the bonding part of it. I believe that there's some things that most of us probably aren't aware of. You know, there are guarantees that the tribe is going to have to make, you know, when it comes to honoring what we sign on for, honoring the responsibilities that come with the bonds, issuing these bonds. And I don't want to get into any more of that, but I'm strongly, and I think Wayne will agree with me, and Eric will agree with me, that we need to have a meeting where we talk about this and get a clear picture of what we're signing on for. Thank you. And the sooner the better.
So it's, Craig online now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and Mike?
I thought I heard earlier that, Eric suggested that we go off air if we're gonna talk about it. I just wanted to comment that if we go into any further discussion.
I told him.
Okay.
I told you.
I don't think he said too many of the details, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to
He
let.
just protected that other part of what we were discussing, so that's why it's okay. Ben,
So we can't discuss that unless we go off the air?
no, the other part that we're not gonna discuss right now.
That's what I'm saying too. I had some questions on it, but I.
That's just informative. He's just letting you know. He's not talking about the intricate part of it that would not be able to be discussed on the air.
That's what I'm curious about.
This project has the potential to affect everybody on this reservation because of its enormity.
Yeah.
The financial responsibilities that we're gonna have to take on.
That's a deeper discussion that we do need to go into. I don't know if you want to do it today. If you do, then we will have to go off the air. But, okay,
Yeah, I'm not saying we need to do it today. We need to spend some
we
time.
will.
And the sooner the better, because this bonding firm, they're chomping at the bit. They're ready to go forward now, but, and they want an answer.
I think that needs a discussion.
So we need a day.
We're just meeting.
Let's get Craig out of the way and then jump into this.
Okay, yeah, this thing that Mike's talking about, Wayne's got another Monday, meeting on it on Monday, so after that meeting, then we'll get into what he's referring to. Okay, Craig, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, if you guys have questions, you want to explain if there's any donations or money raising, family, any of the stuff that's within your budget. Have you received any donations? Do you have planned for donations? Is there sponsorships? Can you explain?
Yes, there are sponsorships, donations, but money is not in my hand yet. I got a bad echo. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So the donation off the top of my head, Shoots, family members, Whipples, Lafferty's, got some shoot sponsorships for the shoots, $250 a shoot. The buckles, I haven't posted that online yet, but they're $150. There's two different families. I want to sponsor 3 buckles, I think it is. Lakota Funds is sponsoring a wild horse race event. And there's something else. Just don't have the data in front of me. But to answer that question directly, yes, there is some.
Specifically to the 54,000 or 50,000 needed to have the relay races, how much is that going to be covered? Or why was it brought for an extra expense at the last minute? When it wasn't one of the original events?
Brought at the last minute. The whole thing's at the last minute, Mr. Fredericks. But that could be reworked within that budget. I guess my question is, if this is at the council level for you guys' discussion, what type of fare are you guys wanting? Because I'm trying to talk to you guys and I'm getting text messages about other people's opinions, but I just want you guys' guidance. I'm your rodeo coordinator, so if you don't want to have an INFR rodeo, then you got to let me know now. That would save money. That would put that relay races within the $98,000 budget that I'm trying to work with. That's the only money that I got from the tribe. So I'm trying to make it all happen within that. But the sponsorships and the donations would be additional money, obviously, that would help this thing out. Now, having to find additional $50-some thousand, that's outside my realm, guys. I don't know how that goes about it. But Mr. Boyd said he was going to try to find the money, and it'd probably have to go before the council. That's all I know of that. So I don't know the final decision, other than text messages that are coming in saying that, why are we having horse races now? Or why is the horse races a question? You just got to tell me if you guys want to have them or don't.
So it should have been passed on to you, and I guess I can't believe they didn't tell you that. In the beginning, we were trying to work with a very tight budget, and we wanted to have a rodeo, and it was supposed to be more geared towards locals. So the idea was it was either going to be maybe like what was said on the floor here by Pyra, but even not them. It could have been an open rodeo, saved a lot of money, had more locals participate. Then we could have actually just had everything fall within the budget of what was originally there. Now all of a sudden it's an INFR rodeo. It's at the end of the budget constraint, and then all of a sudden a $50,000 addition for horse race or relay races came on, and literally that was not even close to being within the budget. There was even talk about not having the PRCA bronc
Bronc
match.
match?
And here, Joe, he said he guaranteed that there would be enough coverage to fit that within the budget. But now all of a sudden there's going to be a relay race, which was never even brought to our attention. And then it was advertised that they're coming. And here all of a sudden we didn't even have the money for it. So that jumped, and it shouldn't even have been advertised before it was actually in the budget.
Gotcha. Let me ask one question. So is the bronc match, Joe's bronc match, considered part of the rodeo budget? And you guys, the way you guys view it, because I view it as two separate things. That's how it was explained to me last year when I was a coordinator. They told me that that was none of my concern.
Joe's funding it, I guess.
Okay. So the tribal ranch or some additional funding or something else.
Yep.
Something that I don't need to be worried about.
That has their own budget.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only thing I got was last year was 98K. And of that 98K, I only spent like 83K of that. That's all in my report. So I thought we did a pretty good job last year. So now this year, all of these stuff, again, they told me we spent our 508,000 was the overall budget. And that was going to be the budget again this year. Okay, so that meant that rodeo was only going to get 98K again. So that means I got to make whatever events we're going to have work for that 98K. And if we get sponsorships and donations, then great, awesome. But since there was this big push for Indian relay races, then yeah, we could have it. We can make it work. It's going to be really tight, and I got to do, I got to do the best to find additional money to make it work. On the other hand, if Mr. Boyd is able to find additional funding to help out, then there again, that's a positive. But that's outside my privy to, you know, to try to ask for that funding or go get that money. That makes sense. So if you're telling me, hey, Craig, we don't have the money, you only get 98K, let's have the races, but only an open rodeo, no INFR or any other sanctioned rodeo, then okay, we could do that, sir, and we'll be well within that money.
Somebody else will find out who.
And as far as the stock contractor thing, I'm getting some text messages.
That's the
stock
other
contractor
issue.
thing. If you pay them out by the outs, and that means a horse bucking out, a bull bucking out, a calf running out the chute, steer running out the chute, those are all per dollars, and we could save money that way. Did you guys?
Yeah.
Hello?
That was
Okay.
the other issue that we were talking about was how the bid was awarded when you had a lower bidder who had a active card, and here they were bypassed, and then they're going to just pay outs when it was advertised as such, and then all of a sudden now he's being bypassed and they're going to do it differently. What was the point of that?
For starters, Mr. Fredericks, the advertisement, if you look at it, it's just like RST 123 rodeo contract. It does not specify anything. INFR, SDRA, Joe Schmo Association, it don't specify anything. So that's something that needed to be fixed in the beginning, but there again, in the essence of the time, we didn't have time to identify all that stuff. So whatever bidders bid and however they bid is what we opened up. And you're absolutely right. There were two qualified bidders that bid that day. Mr. Boyd made a motion to go with the lowest bid. Financially, I looked at the numbers. The lowest bid would work within the budget that I had. I didn't have any say with it. The board voted on it. We went with it. Sometime after that, we had two tribal members came in and pled their case. I pled the case prior to them about contractors to save money to make this thing work within there. The two tribal members that came in that pled their case, they had shared that this individual didn't have a card. This individual did come back in, the one who was selected he did show me that he was actively working on getting his card at that moment, sitting at the table. He did not have it, but he was actively working on it. So I only assumed by the time rodeo time, he would have it and he would be within compliance. But we rescinded that vote and opened it up to multiple vendors so we could have a bigger show so that everybody could bring their best horses, their best bulls, their best whatever, depending on the number of contestants that we got entered up through the INFR rodeo thing. Because we still don't know how many contestants are coming. Now that led to something outside of that meeting and it's still continuing on as we speak. Again, if you want to go back to that original contractor at that dollar amount, that could still work within our budget. And he himself, when I stood up and asked him, he himself said he would bring in multiple vendors. So there's still a win-win there. But I still think that we would save the money. We being the tribe would save money if we left it open and have individuals bring their best stock.
Yep.
But again, like you said, if you're talking about being in a tight budget overall, the fair overall being on a tight budget, then maybe going with a sanctioned event is not the thing for this year. You know,
That's what we talked about.
And if we just got to have an open rodeo, and I think we all have the notion or feeling that since OST is not having their fair this weekend, we're going to have a pretty good crowd. So maybe regardless if we have an INFR rodeo or an open rodeo, we're still going to have a good crowd.
Yeah, or more contestants if it goes
Or more
open.
contestants. So you're not getting an argument, I guess, from me, sir. I just I want to have a big show and just trying to make it work within that 98K that I'm allowed. Or if you're going to tell me, Craig, that got waxed to 50,000, if it's 50,000, then I am in a bind.
No, we were asking just to stick to the original budget.
And that's what I'm trying to do, sir.
But the request from the treasurer and the fair board is coming in with this resolution wanting an additional 50-some thousand.
If there is the additional money, then great, sir. I don't know how to politic.
Well, we don't.
Okay.
Well, we don't. But
Okay.
that's what they're asking for because it was already advertised.
Okay.
Our argument was it shouldn't even have been advertised until we at least knew about it to appropriate the money.
Oh, okay. That's outside my realm, but I understand, sir.
Thank you.
We could still have the races under that budget as long as we have an open rodeo then.
All right. What do you
So
guys say?
if we're switching to an open rodeo, which I think that was the thought from the beginning, what is your projected like gate cost? Like what would you charge?
I just go with what they've been charging them. It's been $10. I don't adjust that fee, ma'am.
Shouldn't that have been part of the budget though? And I'm just asking because originally, like going off of last year and then even into this year, we all knew that we were going to be on a tight budget. We all knew that the fair would possibly not even be on the chopping block depending on what the budgets look like. So I think it's just a hard thing.
That was
to hear.
mentioned, yes.
Yeah, so I think it's just hard to hear that we had already had all those conversations and none of that was listened to, because if we really wanted it to have local input, local people involved in it, and then also local people in the crowds, we would really want to do things a little bit differently, it seems like. So that's why I think some of the concern from today is here.
Gotcha. Well, all I would need to know, ma'am, is what you guys want to do like now, and I can make those changes quickly. But I think I believe just running the numbers. I don't have my folder with me in front of me as I'm driving here, but that Indian relay thing would be a huge hit, especially in this time. I think I can't remember the council rep that came in on the meeting that one day. I think he represents Black Pipe. Chris, I think is his name. He gave us a talk about the 150th, I think, next year's event, trying to be a big thing or whatever. and that the horse races should be a part of it. And I agree, as a personal opinion, I agree. Why can't we do that? You know, Cheyenne Frontier Days does it. Why can't we do it?
Yep.
But if it boils down to money, and then being more informed, I think somebody shared. I think bless Linda's heart, but she had mentioned that there's some resolution from like the 80s that said the rodeo or the fair is supposed to fund itself, and that's, you know, as long as I'm the coordinator, I agree with that. I should try to be working harder to get those sponsorships and donations, which I am. But I've been given a budget from the tribe to work with, so I'm trying to stay within that budget. And if you guys give me additional funding, great.
So all of this is an additional, this isn't the
It's all
full budget.
additional.
This isn't the full budget, this is just what isn't covered with the 98,000?
Yeah.
So what is, okay.
So what does it cost?
Because you would think like this would cover within that 98,000, and do we have to pay extra because it's INFR, so that just, the costs are just, so if we vote it back down to where it's just open,
Right.
that would be able to be covered, all of this within that
We'll still
98?
get a lot this
He
time.
probably could even cover that.
That's what I mean, with the sponsorships he already has, and if we remove some of those higher paying whatever, then we shouldn't have to do anything additional.
We have to decide now because don't the NFR ones go by, point system too, to make it to the finals? So that way those Cowboys
And they
can,
hustled up and paid the $600 to make it a sanctioned rodeo already for INFR.
It still hasn't been approved too, guys, by the way. I still haven't got notification back. I submitted that application yesterday, so it's still pending.
so should we just go with the
Regular
Yeah.
budget.
open rodeo and will that,
So Craig, if you had the budget as set and then had an open rodeo not sanctioned by INFR, could you actually fall within the parameters of still having the Indian relay?
I could, just simple math, okay, Wayne, just simple math. 52.5 something for horse races, okay? So 52K minus 98, you should end up with like, what, 40 some?
40 some thousand.
Okay, so what that 40 some thousand, I gotta give 31,000 to be exact to INFR. So take 31 from that 40 some thousand, that leaves me chump change. I still have to have a youth rodeo, which a youth rodeo was about 55-ish last year. And I got to buy prizes, you know, I got to give some back to kids, buckles, da-da-da-da-da. Man, I already blew my budget out of the water. So that's why I'm hustling, trying to get sponsorships to help offset this stuff. Not to mention I have bleachers falling apart up there. I need some more lighting up there, da-da-da-da, which is like another $10,000 in just repairing the arena. The grounds up there, excuse me, getting it ready, whatever. So I've already exceeded, if I had like $130,000 budget,
you don't need to do the.
What's that?
So if you had, so we're talking about, we're not necessarily needing these Indian relay races, but if you had a budget and we wanted an open rodeo, so it was less for you, and then making sure we have the youth rodeo fully taken care of and possibly even, more invested in that, because if you don't have the kids and you don't have any future coming up in adult rodeo. So what would really work? Can you make it work? Having, working within your budget. I mean, we don't really need the Indian relay, but if you're saying cut it all the way back to an open rodeo, then would it fit the parameters with the Indian relay? Would it fit in there, having an open rodeo, not sanctioned? If not, then go back to having your INFR and kids rodeo, in my opinion.
we can have the Indian relay races and we can have an open rodeo within that money.
So it's basically, do you want an INFR with no Indian relay, or do you want to open with the relay?
With Indian relay.
I personally think
Open and Indian relay.
Open it, so that way all our people from Pine Ridge, Cheyenne, all of them can come down if we have an open rodeo.
Yep.
Because if we do NFR, they can't.
Yeah.
Yep.
Coach, you have something to say? I mean, everybody's talking.
Let's go with the open rodeo and the relays, and if you guys look at this budget here, Craig, if we don't necessarily, you can cut some of this out, because we can use some of the judges for the rodeo, for the Indian relays. You know, we can make it work. We can cut some of this out, and then you can hump and hustle to find people for your prizes and whatever for the youth rodeo, for your buckles or whatever you want for there too. But you know what? I think our people would benefit better from having an open rodeo, because we'd be able to have Eagle Beaters come down, the Ridgers, Lower Brewway, and then families would enjoy this would probably bring money in. We haven't had it for a while, and the last time we had it, there was quite a few just to see this Indian relays. But if it's gonna be made, the decision needs to be made today, so those cowboys who were planning to come here for the NFR can shoot somewhere else to get their points to qualify for finals. So,
Is that a motion or?
all right, yep, that's my motion.
What's the motion?
So the motion is to go with an open rodeo and relays
With no
and the
additional
youth
budget, right?
rodeo.
No, with no additional budget.
Yeah, with no additional budget. And work with this, like with your judges, utilize the ones from the rodeo too, because everybody's gonna already be there.
Within the 98,000.
Within the 98,000. Stay within that perimeter.
So your question?
Question.
Wayne, all in favor?
1,
Yeah, she already,
3,
she seconded.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
1.
Motion carried.
I have a question. He was talking about the rodeo grounds needing all these repairs, that he has to repair those under his budget as well?
It's
The
under
tribe
his-
doesn't.
Well, it's my first time on the Fair Board. How did that go, Wayne? These guys have it.
I think the Fair Board hired a contractor to do most of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it comes out of his own budget, so it takes from what he's given?
Most of the big repairs is comes out of the Fair Board budget.
It's definitely a line item for repairs in the budget, that's what he said.
He's talking about some other minor repairs that weren't included in that bid that was sent out. And that would come out of his budget, but the major repairs come out of the Fair Board.
Those are just the little that weren't included in the first place. It's confusing.
It is. Like, why do they have to pay for that? Takes from the money that they're given, so.
Yeah.
They normally don't pay for it, but there was a person went up there to get an estimate of what all needed to be done, submitted a bid. That bid was approved. But since that bid was awarded, some other things that he identified and get done after all that money was already obligated. So that's what's coming out of his budget. And it's just a small amount, it's nothing.
I don't know if those, I think it was asked before last year, but I think I'll bring it up again too, where we have an itemized budget for all these things, the rodeo, the powwow. There's things on it that should be, bareback, how much they're being paid and all that type of stuff. So I think there's a breakdown. So is there a breakdown in the finance department that should have all that? Because here we are discussing a lot of this stuff and doing mathematical equations here. So if there's a breakdown of all this stuff, then we can actually go off of that, especially from last year. That was something I think that I would look at in order for us to give us a better understanding of it. So, but if we're gonna be sitting here just kind of, I guess, I don't know how you call it. Just throwing it out there for this guy, it's kind of interesting stuff. Like, hey, we don't know what we're doing, but if we had a printout of an itemized type of a budget all the way down, I think we'd be able to do that. I don't have anything here. The only thing that was given to us was just this.
One of the reasons why, Ben, is that wasn't even on the agenda to go into this. Otherwise, if you guys would ask for it, it probably could have been prepared for you.
Yeah, I think it was last year. I think is when we asked for it too, because that's what we went to find out how much everything was made, how much, what made what, who's doing what. I mean, because right now we're just finding out NFR has its own sanction, and is a relay going to have their sanction? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's coming up here.
No.
Okay. That's all I'm requesting is that we get this information ahead of time. But if we don't have it, we're going to request it again, and next year we'll be in the same boat. So I just want to make sure that we have an understanding of what that itemized budget would be for everything. I mean, there's so many things that are coming up as far as like the powwow. You know, I know they give out dance money and things to that effect. I don't know how much they're giving out to them, but here we are talking about budgets. So these are things that we should have in front of us in order for us to at least make some decisions on it. So, but again, it wasn't on the agenda. I don't know if it'd be brought up, but here we are in August already. We got what, 15 days before everything starts getting going. So I just want to make sure that we're prepared as a governing body. So anyway, thank you.
This doesn't have to go through the council now. Wayne has a resolution that needs to go through. If we can get that done, and then I'm gonna adjourn because we have to both leave.
Before Greg, before Greg
Yeah,
leaves.
we're done with you, Craig.
No.
Oh, no?
Before Greg leaves, what are we doing with the stop contract?
Yeah.
Well, that can still stand.
What still stands?
That they have this, oh, you mean the lowest bid or what
Yes.
higher bid?
I have a question.
Lowest bid.
But Emily, she had her hand up.
How does that work if we went with like the open or not open, but where you out for you pay outs or whatever? So they would have to basically be given like a prepaid amount of cash to be able to do these payouts, and then I'm just worried about how to track that large amount of money. Because if our goal here is to save money, it's hard to budget that because you don't know how many outs we have. You don't know all that. So anyway, that was my concern. I don't know enough about the whole situation, but that was just my concern about how we're going to monitor that and how much can we prepay cash, for that type of thing. If not, then I would just suggest going with the bid. It's a lot easier. It's a procurement process if it was already done.
It's already done.
My
I move to
suggestion-
approve the lowest bid stock contract.
Awesome. Question. Do we have money for that? Like, is that what's the budget?
Yeah,
That's in the budget.
that was the original.
We're going with the lowest.
Wayne, Emily, Ben. All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting? Motion carried. Are you gonna?
Thanks, council.
The resolution.
Council, this resolution is to purchase new time clocks for all of our departments. And we're gonna pay for it.
This was great.
Great, we're all done. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Thank you.
These time clocks are, I don't know, 12, 15 years old, but they do not conform with the new software that we're purchasing. We have to buy all new time clocks. And so we're gonna pay for them out of the LATC funds. And the bid was $94,035. Going with, to make a motion to bring it on as emergency legislation.
Madam Chair, I'll move to emergency legislation.
Yep. Need a second? Marion? Question? Ben, all in favor of emergency legislation?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
0.
Motion carried. Wait, Mike, you need your number?
183.
What?
183.
Motion to approve, Mike, 183?
Yep.
Second? Ben,
What was the number?
183. Go ahead, Mike.
Item number 6, whereas the Rosebud Sioux Tribe Finance Department has requested the RST Budget and Finance Committee and the Rosebud Sioux Tribal Council to approve the time clock hardware proposal. All Terrain LLC DBA Workforce Company for the procurement of certain time clocks and related equipment for an annual subscription renewal rate of $94,035 on a sole source basis, and funds will come out of the LATC funds. And the rest of the language is standard.
Question? Wayne, all in favor? Favor.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
0.
Motion carried.
Can I, the motion that you made for the voting orders, could I get you to,
You have it ready?
Amen.
You kill it?
You want to look it over, I'll make copies.
Okay.
How did you include the PC funds?
Yeah. Yeah, I drafted, because we're gonna use LATC funds for part of it. LATC funds require resolution, so I had Eric draft the resolution for that. So, while he's making copies, maybe she has a question.
Coming, Wayne.
My question is we're always taking funds out of the LATC funds. What, can you email us exactly how much funds are in that LATC?
It's in your monthly report, so yeah, I can.
Okay. And then it's like every time we turn around, oh, we can take it out of LATC, you know. It's like, geez, there must be like millions and millions of dollars in there, huh?
There was 1.8. 1.8.
Okay.
Big show like
We
you.
found the end of the rainbow.
It was like a big tree and now it's like a little shrub, kind of in the shape.
Wayne, do you have a question? Wayne? Yeah.
You got twig next.
Wayne.
I think I explained to you earlier, but when ARPA funds were distributed to all the tribes, there was an amount left over. So what the Treasury did is they divided the number of tribes by population into the amount of money that was left over, and they gave out two grant awards. One in like 22 and one in 23. Rosebud's share of that in 22 was right at 3 million, and in 23 is like 3.25,000. The first 3 million has already been spent. The second 3 million, we have 1.8, a little over 1.8 million dollars left. And those funds can be used for anything except for lobbying or anything illegal, but they're pretty much discretionary. That's what those funds are.
Don't start licking your chops now. We're gonna
Oh, I'm
get
gonna
that.
lick those shots here in a little bit.
Wait, my question was to you, don't we have one more resolution for the roof or something?
You guys made a motion, I talked to Lynette, and we'll go ahead and just start, we'll use that motion and start.
It only needs a motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it is.
Coming.
Well, we have these people that were, what'd you say, about 50-some thousand, 54,000? Maybe we could apply some of these funds towards helping them with repairs to their homes. Let's think about it, windows here, come on, you know, they have boards covering them up, it's kind of it's a safety issue.
Well, there's a motion to have Bob bring all that forward
Okay.
from earlier today.
Yeah.
So we're done with that, we're gonna help them, okay.
I mean, those funds can be used for that, Tammy, it's just a matter of someone has to tell me or tell whoever what the costs are gonna be, whose home they
There has to
are.
be a connection.
And I think that's why they asked for Bob to get that together, right?
That's Bob to do the cost estimate.
But yeah, if you making copies, but this resolution then for those listening, the resolution is gonna authorize clothing orders for all of the tribal members, regardless of where they live. From Head Start through 12th grade. And $200 per child. And it's the cost of around $1.1 million.
Eric?
Good morning, council. The resolution is getting passed out.
I asked you to be excused, now I have to leave. Thank you.
Do you want this one? Do you want this? Do you want this?
And your ARPA funds, I don't know if that needs a fiscal year or not. Also that I took FY 2025 for the LATC, I don't know if that's a correct year or not either.
24.
Okay, should be 2024. And the final thing is Head Start also has early Head Start, so I included them both rather than just Head Start. So those are the changes.
Let's bring it on.
I'll bring it
Go ahead, Wayne. Motion for
in.
emergency legislation. Wayne, second by Ben, question by Coates, all in favor of emergency legislation?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
0.
Motion to approve
Move to approve.
184. Second, Ben?
I will start on the 6 where at because it still says it again in the be it for the result. The Rosebud Sioux Tribal Council approves a direct payment for all enrolled children Head Start, early Head Start to 12th grade in the amount of $200 per child. Therefore, be it resolved that the Rosebud Sioux Tribal Council approves and directs payment for all enrolled children Head Start, early Head Start to 12th grade in the amount of $200 per child. Be it further resolved that the funds for the clothing order for the school year 2025-2026 as follows. 1, $770,000 for the American Rescue Plan ARPA funds. 2, $350,000 from the FY 2025 LATC account, the local assistance and tribal consistency funds.
On the other side. Just kidding.
So, would they add another? Further be resolved.
Question?
So council, before you vote, who do you want to administer this?
Secretary's office.
Secretary's office? Okay.
Where we're going to that.
Just to include that in the final report be resolved that the
Processed and distributed.
yeah, these funds were processed and distributed by the local tribe secretary office.
So do we need to vote again on the amendment?
As amended, when?
As amended?
Oh, we need a question.
Need a question? Votes? All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting? Motion carried. Wayne.
Thank you, council. That's all for me, but just for your information, my phone, I'm sure all of you guys' phones have been blowing up about bonuses for the fair. They haven't. The manual that HR manuals allows for 2 bonuses a year. Most programs take those, one from fair and one at LNI, but not all. Up to the program, when to give those out, but they're only allowed 2. So as long as it's included in their budget and they haven't exceeded the 2 bonuses, then they're eligible for a bonus for the fair. Simple as that. But they have to have the money. In the past, there's only been a handful of programs, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 18 total employees, where their programs don't allow for this. And the tribal council has always allowed me to use general account funds to accommodate those. But everybody else has to have it in their budget. I just want to make that announcement because I know my phone's been blowing up.
And then we will send out a memo to all the programs, letting them know that exactly what Wayne just said, so that they understand that if they have it in their budget, they use that. If they don't, then it'll.
It's on this
And
cash.
if it's their second, then that's their second for the year.
It's on this cash award form, the personnel manual, and then on the bottom here, it just says permitted if it's in your budget.
Move to adjourn.
No, wait a minute.
Recess.
Coach?
Wayne, you just made me forget what I was gonna say, holy buckets. Hey, when we meet again, can we have Legacy come down from Rapid and do a presentation? It's about rehabilitation for felons. And they'd like to come in and
Can you
just,
have them send something to me? so
I
we can
asked
put
them
it
to
on there?
submit a budget to her.
oh, did you? Okay.
They want rooms. Rooms and then they work with the community buildings.
I'd like to give the floor to Melinda, if there's no objection.
If there's no objection. No objection. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. I've been talking to Jason from Legacy and they want to come down at the end of August. So we've been kind of talking and I brought this up at CPA, but we're thinking maybe if they could come and do a presentation at council, because that's kind of what they wanted to requested, and to come and meet with all the children and have one big old cookout or something at the end of the month. And now I see that Rosebud Fair, oh, no, that's general election, so we should be good. But they're proposing the end of August, I think.
The 31st?
somewhere around the 28th to 29th, around that way.
27th or 28th?
Yeah, because I think they're in Eagle Butte prior, and then they go back to Pine Ridge, and then they're kind of come and make it down to the Rosebud.
And if it's during the week, a lot of the schools that were gonna be started already, so they're aware of that.
Okay, yeah. So that's kind of just a touch on what we was visiting on, and we proposed to centralize, like a barbecue meet and greet with them here at the fairgrounds possibly. So then the communities could come in and invite them to their communities and start getting something going in their communities.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then just to let the listeners know that council does not get free carnival tickets. You know, we have to pay for ours just like everybody else. And I think that when you buy them in advance, they're a different color from what you purchase. They are, so that's why, so when you see a council rep with a different color, it's because we have to buy them just like everybody else. We don't get complimentary tickets from the carnival. They're not that generous, you know, so I just wanted to let everybody know we buy them just like everybody else. Thank you.
Is that all that you have, Wayne?
All I have.
Bob?
I got a question for Wayne. I got, just like you, I'm getting my phone blown up. And this last text message I got was, hold on, I gotta put my other eyes on. It says, how much bonuses are you guys giving each other for those? And the people want to know.
People want to know about bonuses?
Yeah, for the council.
And as part of this fair, the fair board, I mean, employees.
Yeah, they're wanting to know if we're giving ourselves bonus for the fairs.
People do the council, I don't know. It's up to the council. I mean, I have not seen a request from the council yet. But the manual allows for up to $500. That's the maximum amount for bonus.
The employees are getting bonus.
So that's for the employees. The council has always been eligible for that, but I have not seen a request from council yet.
I gotta get to my next meeting.
Yeah. So without a motion, council isn't getting them.
Okay, that's good. I want the people to hear that the council is not getting the bonuses for Rosebud Fair. You know, I just want to make that clear, so there's not any misunderstanding that we're giving each other bonuses for Rosebud Fair. Hey, that's it, Dula.
Can we select the person on?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
We're not gonna have a quorum.
We do it next week.
Yeah, next week, we'll just set up a special day. Special day just for that. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Yep, I will right after this, but can we make sure that we do that special meeting? And we can have it all in one day for the nursing home? The nursing home and, have the nursing home and what else did we discuss?
Great, we're losing a quorum.
All right. Dang it. The courts, the nursing home, and the directors. Nursing home, the courts. Because we gotta figure something out for them ASAP.
Second.
We could just set that up, can't you? Yeah, just set it, yeah. We can just set those up. 'cause
What do
we
you
don't have a
want,
quorum, do we?
I think it's a weekend.
So it's super easy, can you come and see?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, motion to adjourn. Charles, second. Emily, question, Totes, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Opposed?
1.
Not voting?
Thanks, council. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, you guys.
Love you.